Okay, now welcome to the discussion. I think
Yep.
there've been a lot of issues in the past week. Right now, the first on the block, the first that a lot of people are speaking of is a video we've all seen. The video of the junior high school student beating a fellow student. They are from different schools. I think there was a fight. They just met the boy. The boy was trying to sit somewhere to put medicine on his eye. I think he has an eye problem, and then he just started beating him. If not for the intervention of two other students from that opposing school who came in to help him, they would have hurt him badly because they were virtually lynching him, throwing stones at him, not for anything, for the fact that he belonged to another school he belonged to a rival school. And this thing has been going on. I think last time we spoke of students in discipline, that it's on the rise, right? Now the issue is it because we've taken out the corporal punishment given to students, or is the issue from their homes? Or is the issue from the drugs they take? Mind you, right, in recent time, most of these students taking drugs you can't even smell. Back in the time, it was the weed with people took. I don't want to use weed. Back in the time, people took weed, which will smell. Even the scent itself will give you away, right? But now they're taking the reds and all that. How would you know the person is on drugs? We can't really tell. So there are lots of issues really about the psychology of students in our schools nowadays. They are beating teachers, they are beating themselves. They are doing all sort of manner of things. Last 2 years or last 3 years, we saw the video of the boy who was stabbed in O'Reilly Secondary School. The teachers were sitting. They didn't do anything because now you can't really control them. And then, especially when you are almost done with their wasi, you are scared they might hurt you. If they hurt you, a teacher was stabbed in the eye, I think a year ago, and he's lost that eye. So most of the teachers are really being careful about how they deal with students, especially those in the final year. So we've seen the CID boss at Central Region is going to give them an ultimatum to help bring out the schools. The students, we've had three already who have been arrested. I think they'll be put before trial and all that. What do you think is happening to our youth? These are our future leaders. And these are the things they are doing now. It's sad. Today, it's not your child, but tomorrow someone could be doing it to your child. It's quite, go from it, it's quite alarming. Very, very much alarming. Hajia, let me start with you.
It's alarming, yes. And it's unfortunate that we spoke about it no long ago, and then about two more to add to the series of what has happened. I mean, my stand remains the same. It started from somewhere. And so when we want to end it, we must start from somewhere. They should be brought to book. All the people in the uniform should be brought to book. As the COP said, nobody should be shielded. And parents should be involved. Parents should be sensitized to know that going forward, the welfare of their children, yes, they'll seek their consent, they'll seek their involvement, but then they cannot decide how that child should be disciplined. That is not to say that when the parent is not involved, then the child will be disciplined kind of in such a way that it will be an excess. No, how it used to be done, it will be done that same way. The fear that children have towards their teachers when they tell you that if you do something at home, even you'll be reported to the teacher, that fear must come back. And it is not far from us. The children are not overgrown than the adults. The adults just need to put their firm feet down and say that we are going back to disciplining the children. Children, people of faith. It's not a modernized kind of thing to discipline children. It's a commandment even from God. And if you don't believe in God, you still know that for you to toe a particular line, when you toe the line you toe, that is what you get better and that is what you grow in, that is what you become better at. So we do the right thing from the beginning. So the children should be disciplined. The school should take a firm stand to discipline them. When you do something in the classroom, it's wrong, you should be told immediately, given a warning, whatever it is around the campus, boarding house. Those systems should be brought back to this thing. I think they are there, but it's just been relaxed because you feel that okay, give them the space. Children today are different. There's nothing different. The discipline, we must get it right. If we get it right, when the system changes or things are advancing, then we have the hope and we have the confidence that we are bringing up children that can adjust the way they should. But if we leave them to be and systems are changing, they'll follow the trend. Whatever they see, they'll follow. It shouldn't happen. It should never happen that teachers should be beaten by children. Teachers must beat children, yes. And let us talk about the excesses. Let's have it that way than to have children beat teachers. It will never happen. We should change and we should just go back to how we used to do things before. I said it before. It is the Akufo-Addo government especially that enforce that system that children should not be beaten. So we must take that firm stand again and stand on those podiums we stood on, whether it's free SHS that, but and say that the children will be beaten. If you fool, you will be disciplined. Every parent that has a problem with that, withdraw your child and send the child home, because you train the child at home. You cannot do it alone. That's why you bring the child. So if you bring the child, you must ensure that you allow them to do their work and believe that the teachers are doing their work. The teachers we have are no different from the teachers before. Everyone is adjusting. You allow your child to go through the system, but I don't think that your child is better than any child. No, children are a gift from God. It's not as if they are something that you should hold above anybody else. You let them go through the system the same way.
The same way. So Black.
Yeah, I think as you have spoken, has learned on this very issue. And one of the schools I attended, or in my primary school days, Providence International, that has this motto as train up the child the way he should grow. And when he grows, depart. I asked myself that, are these children really, being trained the way they are supposed to want to grow? Because we've been in this system before. This morning I wrote my opinion about this very issue that we are discussing, and I asked myself that, or I was saying that back in the days when we were in secondary school, especially during interco, right? So when we were playing, or normally when it's time for game or like sporting activities, you see students chanting the jama. You can attest to the fact, right, where it was an avenue for us to reestablish connection with our friends, either from the same neighborhood or from primary school. That kind of what's come around there is there, that familiarity, and then that kind of vibe. But even though you surely see one or two people engaging in all kinds of vibe, but it wasn't as rife as we see right now. Okay, and it's as if school authorities have, it's as if school authorities are not being respected to the extent that these days they feel unconcerned because of political decisions, right? For me, I just want to generalize it, because of political decisions from a previous government. Now,
You don't mention the government.
they know themselves, right? When we were in secondary school, some of us were lashed, not for violent, purposes, but for little misdemeanor or whatever you may say it. But you see, when I watched the video, I became very incensed, very, very incensed. I said to myself that if this thing had happened to my child, it would have rained fire on that campus. After watching the video again, I was like, so these guys had the gut to stone someone's child for no reason. This generation are insanely entitled. Most of them are ill-bred. They are, as in, like, they engage in all kinds of, like, I call it like debauchery, engaging in sex and alcoholism. That's the definition for debauchery. Because you said that whether are these guys back in the day, they used to feed themselves with weed, but these days they go beyond that. Thank for free SHS. However, I think that the disadvantages of free SHS are outnumbering the advantages. Because this is not what free SHS stands for, or this is not what secondary school stands for. What kind of home, or what kind of upbringing are they receiving from home? Probably some parents are doing their best, because some students have double characters. At home, you will see them to be angelic souls, but when they come out, they are satanic souls. So at home they are angelic, but in school they are satanic. And also, you are saying that corporal punishment should be taken out of the system, or should be wiped out, or should become a thing of the past. Even during our time when we were caned, or during our time when we were being caned or punished with the canes, some students still went wayward. Not talk about now that caning, exactly. And if you don't take time, these are the same people who grow to become leaders. If you don't take time, they'll become deviant leaders. Not necessarily, but they'll become very physical. And if you don't take time, they'll represent the country elsewhere. And if you don't take time, they will still bring shame to the motherland. If we don't keep the situation, and this generation advance in age to our age or to our level someday, the country will be in total chaos. Telling you, and if you don't take time, it will still. It is something that is already happening in the community, but just that they find themselves in school, so they still want to continue and replicate what they do in the community there, because I don't see a sane human being stoning another sane human being. For what reason?
For no reason.
There are reasons why we have authorities. There are reasons why we have authorities. So if a fellow student has done something, has done the otherwise, just report the person to an authority.
And the boy said he was just sitting there.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm
just making a statement. Assuming the boy, assuming exactly.
Doesn't it give you the right to do it? Anyway, now I think it's really getting out of hand. But they were speaking to a communication of GES. I think he was
that's the PRO.
He was speaking of the legalities in relation to corporal punishment.
Yeah.
That if you punish a child and then the parents decide to take you on, GES doesn't involve itself.
Very good.
So the legalities are a lot. So if you're bringing back corporal punishment, you need to watch the way we bring it. And then another interview I watched was of I think the NAGRAT boss. Was it the NAT boss? I don't know. I don't want to mistake it. He had some allergy. I've forgotten his name.
Okay.
And he was saying he doesn't even blame what is happening on corporal punishment. He blames it on the fact that the children are not raised up well.
Exactly.
When they are punished in the schools, their parents come to the schools to
attack you.
So the children need to be really oriented. The parents need to be really oriented. They need to know that this is what is happening, right? Because what happened at that intercolleges, it wasn't even on campus. So there were no teachers. Or even if there were teachers, there would not be enough to even handle a situation like that because it's an intercollege competition, right?
And then everywhere.
So if not for the fact that the boys came in to help that boy, the two boys came to stand in and helped that boy,
he would have been finished.
He would have been killed because they were really throwing the stones.
Exactly, yeah.
And he was confused. You could look at the way he was standing. He didn't really. He wasn't.
He was weak.
Yes, he didn't understand what was going on.
He was weak because the stones.
It's right on for. I think, like Hadia said.
But you see,
I'll bring Hadia. Like Hadia said, she said it's better for teachers to beat students, for us to look at the excesses, than for students to be beating teachers.
Yes. And you're saying something about the legality, or you're talking about the PRO for the GS, who was alluding to the fact on legalities. But you see, if you're talking about legalities here, as a state institution, back in the days, I mean, we all went through the system from GS. So why now? I mean, why have things changed? If you're talking about legality, but you see, we are not there to cane someone's child, or we are not there to kill someone's child with a cane. There is moderation. Yes, even at home, parents do cane their word. And you see, that is that because of some of these rules, that is why how come, for some schools, you can't even touch a child at all. And when that happens, you tend not to respect the teacher because parents will attack you. And also, you ask yourself that, in instances like this, what is the purpose for the establishment of the PT?
Now they're trying to bring back the PT. In fact, they've started it. But I told you the PT was off. It was only parent association.
I think it's been long overdue.
Yes.
I mean,
now,
the new government
do something, and the child will just ask you, "What can you do? What would you do?"
Then country,
and then you will just stand there and be looking at the child.
Yes.
Now, back in the day, as I mentioned the point, I'll come back to you that people did things at home, and then the parent would tell them, "I'll report you to your teacher," and then they get scared. Now, the teachers have no power to cane. The parents themselves are not caning the children. So the children grew up with all manner of attitudes. And then we take them to the boarding house with the intent of reform. Because, yes.
They just go and team up.
Yes. Because really, I taught someone who had a bad character. And I told the parent, this thing, you can be the only one to handle it too. She said no. The boarding house will reform the child. Unfortunately, the child became worse at the boarding house.
Yeah.
Met folks like herself.
And was negatively influenced.
Yes. Now, Adia, the juvenile system in the country, if they're working well, don't you think we should be having these boys arrested and jailed and then stayed within the juvenile, because they'll come up and tell us they're underage. We've seen the accident that happened with a pastor's child who just happened to just spend 6 months house arrest.
Oh, it's a house arrest.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, really?
No, I think
I
it was
thought
yeah.
it
No,
was sent to
he was sent to
juvenile.
juvenile. That was
Juvenile,
Yeah,
no, house arrest.
no, it was Buster right that it was sent to.
Real.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Okay,
sent.
problem
I think
getting
it's
over. I will
I'll
I
check.
check.
think
Yeah,
I
you
Yeah.
think
check.
it's working. I see every system we have. Hey, every system we have. I think after some time we should review our systems. It's just normal. We should review our system. So if we have a juvenile system, the children we have, as we ourselves say today, that they are not children of yesterday, so we expect more from them. Fine. So the juvenile system should also do a lot more to cater for the welfare of these children when they come. Um, we shouldn't have a system that should think that sending them there is unfair. No, it's not unfair. But the juvenile system should equip itself to be able to take them through some kind of training so that for the time that they find themselves there, they should have a better understanding of right and wrong. They should come out reformed. They should come out with purpose. Like, don't just keep them there, feed them. There should be a real system going on that educates the child, sees to the welfare of the child, lets the child know that there's still a life out there they are going to, and you should face it with a better, a better understanding of all of that. I think that we just need to upgrade the system and make sure that we are maintaining what we have. But for us to say, oh, they're underage or we also we don't send the child. No, once you make the mistake and it becomes criminal, that somebody else has to suffer for your mistake, you need to go to be reformed. If you could be reformed at home, I don't think you'd have gotten to that stage. It's unfortunate. It's painful. And maybe you saying it, you don't want to see your child there until somebody you see until it happens to you. Yes. But until it happens to us, the fact that you have a child that has a bad attitude doesn't mean that everybody should suffer for it until that child decides to change. At some point you have to know that yes, you have to be pulled back from the site because you're becoming a hindrance. So where a child can just drive because you think you have the money, you've given the child a car, the child has opportunity to drive anything when the child is underage, and you know the consequences of that. Nothing is promised. You're a pastor, accidents happen. That child is driving, could hit somebody, but you still feel that yeah, he should have his way, and he goes and he does that. You don't tell us that it was a mistake, blah blah blah. Somebody is dead. See how high you hold your own. If your own had died, will you come out and tell us that it's a mistake? No. So it's a mistake. We understand. We all agree. But the thing is, it's a system. So you go through the system. Let him go. Let him be reformed. Let him come. If you don't think he needs reform, let him go so that we, those who think that we've been hurt, let us be at least at peace that yes, we've had justice. You cannot have any peace without justice. So when you uphold your child so much, you give him too much, at the end you face the consequences.
You face the
Yeah, you
consequence.
face the consequences.
Now, coming back to our next topics. The next topic is actually on the issue with our health system. We saw the incident of the guy, I think 29 years.
Yeah.
It was a hit and run. It works with, is it Promasidol? Also, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cabo.
Yes. A hit and run. They took him to about 4 hospitals, right?
Yeah.
And then even at one hospital, I don't want to mention the hospital's name because I've not really gone through the facts well, but even at one hospital, the ambulance was willing to actually give out their stretcher.
Rich.
So that he actually, so they actually,
Know them already.
he's actually giving the first aid there. But they declined. They declined. And you see, the sad thing is that if you've been in that situation before, you understand how it feels like. That you've brought a relative who is in trouble or die in need of medical care,
Yeah.
and then the health professionals are not even willing to administer first aid. Now, the health minister was saying the other day that at least even if you have to send a person away to a different hospital, give first aid.
Yeah.
But should it be a directive from the health minister for you as a health professional to know that you need to administer first aid? It's a black.
Yeah. It's very, it's a very dying situation, and I think to me, I mean, I don't want to say all because we still have very professional, health.
Oh, we still have
practitioners,
very
but
professional, yes.
because if I'm saying all, because not that I have people within the space,
Oh,
but I can say, I just want to say that they should bow their heads in shame. They are evil. For this thing to happen tells me that they don't have the profession at heart.
And this
You
is just the
see,
one we've heard of.
Oh,
no, you
there are
see, this is not
lots.
the first time that we hearing of
Yes.
of such incidents. I mean, it's happened several times, but I think for once we need to take the bull by the horn and sanction people. If people have to be jailed, we should jail them. I don't want to say extreme things because I'm trying to control my emotion because I mean, having heard the issue and deliberated on it in the last few days, I'm tempted to believe that some of these health professionals are mere agents of distraction. Yes, because I've had people who've been in this situation before, and it took some, caring nurses and doctors to what to dispense or to administer or to probably give them good medication or take good care of them. But you ask yourself that you are asking whether it's the duty of the health minister to make such declaration or whatever it is. Don't they have code of conduct? They do, right? Before they graduated, they swore in their respective how do you say it? Is it a Hippocratic oath or their oath or whatever, be it a nurse or a doctor? So after swearing the oath, is this what you is this what you're about? If it is possible, those people who were in charge as at that time, they should be dismissed. Yes. If we can't jail them, we should be if they can't be jailed, or if the law cannot, or if we can't jail them, they should be dismissed. Because at the end of the day, if we continue to do it, we will come and we extend our deepest condolence to the bereaved family, blah blah blah. Then
It keeps on going on.
exactly.
It keeps on going
Yes, because probably the person is an ordinary person. That's how come and if it had happened to an MP, I don't think it would be. Yes,
on. Oh, no. If it had happened to an MP, you see everyone there, it would have been all
I'm
over
just saying
the
that
place. Yes.
if this had happened to an MP, probably
Yes.
the doctor or the person in charge would have been
Would have
fired.
gone.
But because it's an ordinary person, they are just. And you see, I think one man spoke in Parliament and he raised issue
Yes.
concerning.
I think.
Is it Professor something?
Yeah, he's a
Professor
prof-
Bayo and
Bayi,
Bayo.
yeah,
Yeah, very
He
good.
actually spoke well yesterday.
And
to the
also
extent
one-
that it's on the majority side,
Very good.
but he spoke well to the extent that the minority leader even started clapping for him.
Exactly. But you see, and I think one other man also spoke. I think he said that he's the former Secretary General of the Medical Association.
That's the Professor Bill.
Very good. Okay. According to him, he worked under the former health minister, and to him, there are so many lapses within the health sector. You see, when it comes to the health sector, it's just like the second backbone of the country. I stand to be corrected. There should be strict laws governing every hospital, be it teaching or non-teaching hospital, whereby first aid should just be
The normal thing.
the basic
The
thing.
basic thing.
First aid should just be the basic. It should just be a basic thing. So they said that as soon as you get to the hospital, whether for an emergency or not for an emergency, first thing should be first aid. In a situation where they can't go beyond the first aid, you can be then they
Can
can
refer
refer.
to another hospital.
Are they just there to be paid, or they are just there to carry out anything that they want? Mr. Fuad, I think I don't want to communicate.
It's not easy. See, Hadia. Now, according to the what's the name? The standard. The minimum is I think 5 beds to 1,000 people. In Ghana here, I think a research that was done shows that we only have 1 bed. The minimum is 5 beds to 1,000 people,
But the ratio is 0 point something.
but we have I think 1 bed to 1,000 people.
No, I think the professor, the prof was talking about, the standards according to World Health Organization.
Yeah, so that's-
I think I heard him say 0 point something. Probably anyway. I stand to be corrected.
What I heard this morning was that it's like we are within the 1 bed to 1,000 people. We
Coming.
don't even meet the minimum.
Exactly.
So is it a government affair, or should the health workers be blamed? Because I was speaking to a health worker this morning, and she said, truth be told, there's few of them who are not really that professional, but most of them try to improvise. They try to use the little they have. They try their best, but the things are not there. The instruments are not there. The machines are not there. They improvise. They try them. So at times you become so overwhelmed.
Arrange budgets ready.
Yes, so overwhelmed that when these things come to your doorstep, if you don't take care, you will mess up. So in as much as some of them misbehave, We should look at the system as a whole.
It's a clarion call. But by all means, the system, once things like this happen, it goes beyond. But we still expect that you put a human face to it, isn't it? So you, the health worker, you are at work somewhere, and then your child is rushed. The person was even declared missing.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
didn't even know. So your child is somewhere, they rushed, you can face no birth syndrome somewhere.
Imagine.
How
It
do
didn't
you
make
feel?
sense to you at that point. You talk about
That-
system. At
in
that
the heat
point,
of
you
the
can't
moment.
talk about system.
He or she was very
In the
good.
heat of the moment
At
when
that
you
point, you
are
don't
when
talk
you are
about
stressed and
system. You
frustrated.
wonder how the improvisation went that your stand couldn't get some. So we know the system. Once it has come up, we all talk about the system. But kudos to the ambulance team. You see, they had finished doing their part. They didn't need to worry. Would they leave the
But they
person
stay
there?
there.
They keep on. But
No,
they
they
are
have to be
telling
there
you that
for
this person, the more
years.
we drive on, the person is at risk of dying. Like, So they've done their part. They've overdone it, and they've even offered that you keep the stretcher.
Stretcher. We'll come back later
Keep the
for it.
stretcher
But they
and
deny
just
it.
administer
It's
something. Once they even
But
go
they-
around
they
and
said
look
there
for
was no
something,
space.
go around and look for, and you still
How
say
small is
no.
that space?
So at that
How
point,
small is
is
reach?
it the personnel to attend to the person that is not there,
That should tell you.
or the tools that are not there? That's why you refuse the
That
stretcher.
should tell you how
Or you're just so used to
unconcerned they
people
were.
dying around you that one to you,
It-
you don't
it- it
care.
doesn't
Like,
really-
I don't know whether the fancy people.
But have you been to some of the emergency centers? When someone is rushed in, assuming
What's the reception?
because the person is unresponsive. Sometimes they just come and open their eyes and they say the person is dead on
dead.
arrival. You don't see any resuscitation, no
Without proper
CPR.
diagnosis.
There's nothing. You just come there, look at the person, open the person's eyes. Probably
So that means
later-
that, I mean, how well qualified are they?
it's serious. I've been at the
How
emergency
qualified are they?
units.
And aside the
the person-
qualification, do they have the job at heart?
Yes, they bring
They
the
don't
person
have the
in,
job at heart.
and then you expect the doctor to come in and start giving the person a pump and the
Because,
heart.
you see,
so when things
Sometimes
like
they
this
behave as if
happen,
they are gods, but meanwhile they are mere mortals like us.
when things like this
Yeah.
happen, it makes you wonder. Let me also get money so that if something like this happens, I rush my person outside. You
But should that be the case?
That shouldn't be the
It shouldn't be the case. It
So,
shouldn't be the case. I feel
you know, you see,
we should live in such a country. We should live in a country that, I mean, even if you are dying, you have what, you have confidence in the health sector.
that's why some of them go out and they don't even come back because they see the benefits of they see how well things are done there.
The structure.
Yes,
The structure, I mean, as
you
in
can't
the
just
structure,
bring
function.
somebody, you just look at the person, check the eye, and then you leave. I mean,
Is it-
you have to give
yes.
some assurance that this person is
But
okay.
leave that.
On basic level. Normally, when you go to the hospital, now most of them they just tell you lab. They don't even ask you plenty questions. Once you start talking, they are
So it's
writing
become
lab for
monetary.
you.
It's become monetary.
They
minded.
don't try to tell you it may be this, it may
Maybe
be that.
But the first,
you
but the
go to
first
the
thing should
lab
be
and come
probably
back,
the
they are
first aid,
writing
and then the first aid. I'm coming.
medicine you need.
Probably, I'm not a health expert, but I think the first thing should be first aid and maybe diagnosis.
She's not even speaking of the first aid. You see,
The nature
let me even speak
patients.
let me even speak of the pediatrics, the small little children.
Yeah.
Yes. You see, back in the day when you go to the hospital, you see the doctor opening your mouth, checking your tongue, checking
Maybe
your eye,
temperature,
even before the temperature. You see them holding your hand,
trying to have a feel of the body. Yeah.
But lately, you just go to the hospital, they just sit behind their computer. What else do you think is wrong with them?
That's all.
What do you think? Okay, go to the lab.
Has things changed
That's all.
because of modernity?
It's not.
I'm just trying to play the devil's advocate, but then
There should be a touch of you really examining the person bodily, because really you just can't say, okay, because it's a lab, there's nothing you need to check on the person.
You can't diagnose anything
See,
anymore.
I took a child to the
Physical
hospital.
examination.
has that practice changed?
I took a child to the hospital.
I'm just asking.
Yes, I
because,
took a child to the hospital. The doctor opened the mouth, checked the tonsils or whatever, and said, no, from what I'm seeing, there's an infection there. Even before she even sent the girl,
there's a well qualified and passionate,
even
professional.
before she even sent the girl
Yes.
to the lab. You understand? So she gets a first-hand view of what she thinks is happening to the child, even before so the lab report only comes in to either confirm or speak again, or confirm, or what's the opposite of that confirm? Either confirm or what?
Lack of a better word.
So it comes into
You can confirm or deny.
deny what you think or your suspicion.
Yeah.
So basically, the lab is to either confirm or deny your suspicions.
Exactly.
But if you don't even check anything,
Yes.
you've not seen anything.
All of a sudden,
just go to lab. It's like it's more or less becoming
the first is as like
we can all be medical practitioners,
but it become monetary focus.
Yes, I'm not really getting the thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's something we really need to check. Now, the professor he spoke of.
Yeah.
He spoke of the ambulance service.
Exactly.
That what they do, the basic thing they do is scoop and run. I think that's the term he used. That they just pick the patients, probably administer some oxygen, and then they move. But we've gotten to the point where the ambulance personnel need to be given some form of training, similar to that of the nurses, so that even within the ambulance, they can administer that first aid.
Very good.
To the patient.
But I believe it's part of their training.
Yeah,
I think it's part of their training.
You see,
Our friends are
they give the first aid, but it's not as deep as probably getting to the hospital. Like the guy with the accident.
With first aid, we have different levels.
You know,
They do not give, they do not put a line in the veins.
Are they limited in terms of first aid giving?
The basic thing I think they do.
At least people are supposed to. Maybe they are
check whether the blood is flowing.
Somebody else.
Check whether the blood is flowing or whether
to an extent. But at one point,
is it more?
I've been in an ambulance where the nurse, the ambulance lady, the personnel actually place a line on the patient and then continue with the drip.
Is it a form of like resuscitation? That's what
No,
they
it's
do.
not resuscitation.
I'm just asking from the ambulance perspective because when it comes to first aid, I think sometimes when someone is not doing what breathing properly, they try to resuscitate the person and maybe check whether the blood is flowing. Anyway, I'm not an expert or a professional in this, but I think the health professionals must up their game.
Yeah.
And also, you see, the thing is that we live in a country where we are afraid to fire people because from a lot of things, the people who were on board didn't have the job at heart. They didn't display professionalism.
First stop.
Yes.
They offered you the stretcher.
Exactly.
The people who don't know the thing, you brought the person quickly, offered you the stretcher.
They
So
give you
you
the
say you don't like, you can't do anything. You let
And
the
you
person
rejected
go.
all.
And all the way
hope
to
of it.
Kolebu.
Yes.
All the way to Kolebu.
Was it declared dead on arrival at Kolebu?
He was there
No.
for not dead on arrival. He was there for a while. I
He was
mean,
pronounced
I
dead.
think the first attendance he got was one doctor from Kolebu who checked him and then confirmed his death. After a long minutes.
And then probably the guy was almost dead upon arrival.
After long minutes. Yeah, so
Yeah,
they
I
sent
think
them,
that
they
was
redirected
almost
them to
upon arrival.
Legon.
Legon,
The
that's
man
like
said driving there.
It's another
He's not
distance.
sure
Yeah,
that
yeah.
The
by
guy
the
was
time
survived.
they get there.
He will survive.
So they spent time still negotiating
And
the matter.
I heard the guy
Negotiating the
had lost a
matter.
lot of blood. The guy had lost a lot
And they
of blood.
try their best to reduce
The
the
bleeding.
blood flow. So this one too, you say right now ambulance people too should go and learn nursing whilst they are calling them for another emergency. Then they are there attending
No,
to
but
one.
I
They've not
think-
finished.
I see-
The same hospital said that they needed ambulances
Yes.
to get the
but-
people. Now ambulances are working,
But
even
well,
offering stretchers, and you still don't want it.
a little suggestion here, or probably maybe mind-blowing thought. I mean, can we also attach some health professionals to the ambulance service?
The health professionals,
They
so I
don't
think what
know.
they do,
As like
they're just-
qualified doctors, nurses attached to the service, so that in case of emergency, they will be there to
like paramedics.
paramedics and probably well qualified.
Well, paramedics are able to really.
I don't know much
Yeah,
about
but
that, but
they
I
know-
would doubt
with the
that
paramedics,
there's
because
nobody who will know a
you
little
know-
bit more
you know-
about what's happening.
A paramedic is not a fully trained person, so probably maybe you have a limit. But in terms of maybe a well qualified nurse or doctor being attached to the service, in times of emergency, they can come in and help to help them out. Help them out.
I see. I feel that talking about that part, we are leaving the main issue, which is the hospital. The ambulance rushes
we are
to
not
get the
leaving it, we are not
person to
leaving it,
you,
but I'm just saying that-
the expert.
I'm just saying that in times of maybe in a situation where in a situation where an incident happens close to the ambulance service, or probably maybe they will have if they
But
can.
you get what idea is also
I
saying.
feel they
It
offer
doesn't really
some
solve much
first
of it,
aid
but the health
already.
professionals
So
need to work.
No, for that. No,
So Pastor Black is
So that
also
one
coming
idea,
from the point
exactly.
that at least there should be
Yes.
some kind of help
attached to
attached to the
to it.
ambulance,
Exactly.
even before you get to the health. So even if you
As
go
for the
and get
health,
this
as
kind
for the
of-
health, I am thinking that people should be dismissed because there are so many passionate people who are out of service, or probably who are out of employment, or who need employment. So yes.
Another thing, is
Yeah.
that, do you think, especially in relation to our doctors,
Yeah.
do you think we need to get people who are really passionate about medicine, enter medicine.
We need to
Instead
get
of-
people
instead
not
of-
just the
we'll be
people
talking
who
about
feel
passion,
they decide
passion,
to go
passion.
into
We're talking
medicine.
about passion.
Instead of probably picking people because of just grades, because some of these people, by virtue of exam leakages and all that, they have those results
And then pass.
and then they pass. Some people, by virtue of family prestige, they try to enter the medical field.
But good.
But there are lots
That's like
of people
family legacy.
because if you look at Cuba,
Yeah.
they encourage a lot of people to be doctors, and then they train them as doctors. So even the low grade doctors in Cuba,
Whether you have science background or not, you can still enter.
some of them are even far better more advanced than the doctors we have here. Because we actually import them at times when you have very serious cases. So is it getting to the point where those with the passion are trained, and then while we train them, probably we pluck off those we think are not, and then we get a lot of medical because if they are there, like what you said, even attaching some to ambulances will be available.
Exactly.
But it's
But
like they are not.
Again, the system upgrade.
You see, the thing is that
The system upgrade.
you see, we crumple Accra. Imagine outside Accra.
We call for Accra.
Accra.
With all the teaching hospitals,
Yes, close, very close. Because
because reach.
People are crossing rivers.
it's just 10-minute drive. Without traffic, it should be 10 minutes or 5-minute drive.
So this one too
A
is
teaching hospital referring to another
the teaching hospital.
Anyway,
So
the person is dying, and they say just do something, resuscitate the person, get the person to be in the right
give the person some blood.
Yeah, this one, the system does not even
Exactly.
set in.
But you see,
the system doesn't set in. There are ambulances. Ambulances have
conclusive
brought the
point
person
would be
to
that-
you. The ambulance has done well by telling you that no, this one cannot go any further. Keep him on the stretcher. So I'm not saying that there's no bed. I accept
But at least-
that. We
at least
acknowledge that
the
thing is
stretcher
there.
can act as a
But
bed in the
let's
meantime.
improvise.
Yes.
Use the stretcher. This is
Yes.
the matter before.
Exactly.
And he said no.
No.
3 hospitals said no.
Why
And those
no?
are not the small ones, those are the big
Biggest,
ones. So
yes.
the small one, what did they tell you?
Actually, the biggest in the
The
country.
small one, what did they tell you? I'm sure they
Yeah.
bypassed the small ones because they felt that maybe if
They
that
will
thing is there,
need-
yes, but then big one, you
Exactly.
should reason to use a stretcher. And you still said no. And this one too, the system has not
And you
even
see,
come in.
finally,
The system is not coming in yet.
those personnel in charge have been interdicted. The usual committee will be established, and then nothing significant will come out of
That's the
it.
thing. You see,
That's the thing.
the
Committee.
nurses, the nurses are graduating into doctors. The doctors, there are doctors to see. The doctors that you see nowadays, some are young. They are young, but when you go, you don't even
Do you
think
have
that's a
expertise?
doctor or that person is
Do they have that
understanding somebody. But
expertise
say he's a doctor, but he's sitting down. The machine is there. He has game playing. Just the
Like
thing
on
he's
social
doing, he's
media.
just going to write the lab for you because he doesn't have time to answer.
Exactly.
He doesn't have much.
They don't have passion for the job. Just say that.
It's unfortunate that I'm not going to say that maybe they know everything at once, but
You will
if
know everything at
somebody
once.
is willing
It
to
takes time to gain
talk with
experience.
you, understand your situation, you can tell. But most of them, they just
They're
they're
not
simple.
empathetic.
Very good. They don't have sympathy
let me
for-
write
yeah,
for
for
you.
a
And you
living.
have to even come out and ask. So what exactly is wrong with me? As at the point of writing medicine, you've not told me anything. What exactly is wrong
Exactly.
with me?
Tell me what
you're
I'm-
dealing with
yes.
a human being.
Tell me what I'm
I can
suffering
tell
from.
you some symptoms
Yeah.
that will help you deduce what exactly. You don't ask me any question, then you're just
Then I tell you
writing. You're
that
writing,
stuff.
can't even see.
Then that makes you a quack.
You see,
That makes you a quack
it's
because
not nice.
I can't just come to
It's
you and
not
tell you
nice.
that, oh, Mary, then all of a sudden you begin to prescribe medication for me without
not nice.
diagnosing me or probably checking me bodily. So I think
And you have these nurses too. We see the way they behave. So when their issues come up, every time we say that some of them they are rude. It's not about some of them are rude. A lot of them are rude. They are rude they're just rude. But it's not a job where rudeness should be a part of it. It shouldn't.
That is all about
so
themselves,
it beats the mind that you should have people who are rude and not even one or two that we can say,
Majority
oh,
of
most
them.
of them they are rude. Anytime an issue comes out that we have to be sympathetic with, we talk about the rudeness. It is too much. It's too much on the corridors, in the wards. They are rude. You see a pregnant woman, you're talking to her anyhow.
And finally,
You've not been
yes,
pregnant
yes.
before. You're
To
just
the extent
rude.
that
Like,
even unless
it's as
that-
if you're not happy with the job you're doing.
unless that you can give birth to speaks to you anyhow. And then if you don't take time, you throw your hands.
Or you say
Yeah.
you don't like the face, or you just feel you are so tired. No, it's the job you signed up for. So I don't know,
Exactly.
because I know before they enter, they have interviews too. You speak to them.
That's what I'm
It
saying.
shouldn't
That they
just be
swear, the
some-
doctors swear, that's what they, yes.
Yeah,
And,
so
and the nurses have their code of conduct.
it has to be rigorous. It
Exactly.
shouldn't just be some, okay, we're passing, it's
No,
just
no,
some
no, no, no,
procedure.
no,
No,
no, no.
if the person doesn't have this thing for it, don't let the person
If
go.
the person,
Keep them on
the
probation.
mindset,
But They are rude. They don't show empathy, because this is all a matter of empathy. The person
all a
is
matter of
dying,
empathy.
or you've seen too many
all a
dying
matter
people.
of
If you've
empathy.
seen too many dying people that don't
Because
have
if you're
empathy, then it's
passionate
time for you
about
to
it,
leave the job.
to leave the job. It's
Yes,
true.
you retire.
Because if you're passionate about a job, you surely have that empathy.
That is what the job is
Exactly.
about. So
The
if you
job
can't
is
do
about
it anymore,
empathy.
retire. Yes.
And the job is about humans.
But whenever we
Exactly,
complain,
yes.
they only go back to their salary. Our salary is
See,
not
excuse me to say-
Service of
Excuse me to
condition.
say,
They're always
their
fighting for
boss-
service of condition.
Their boss, the woman boss who
Isn't it
had
the-
issues, they went on strike at some point. She was
Isn't it
out of the country
last year?
Even see her behavior. I don't know if she's a nurse herself or she's a
She's a nurse,
her
I think
behavior. See the person talking for the whole group. See the way she behaves.
And then someone who's
not
politically
once, not
exposed.
twice. See the way she behaved throughout Akufo-Addo administration. See the way she talks. That kind of person cannot have any system that trains better nurses or anything. She is rude. Every time she has to apologize for what she's done, but she keeps on saying the nonsense to her ears as if they deserve so much that we've not seen before.
I think
That
that-
nurses can just go on strike. People are dying and you just tell them that no, you need what you want. But nurses have better conditions than a lot of people. A lot of
What about teachers?
nurses are
Teachers.
saying
What about teachers?
what they are
What about
doing.
teachers?
Teachers.
What about teachers and
All the time.
and other civil servants?
teachers. You let even
Yeah.
limit it to teachers. Teachers.
Someone who taught all of them.
Teachers. I want to tell
These
them.
same people are being
Go back
paid
and
once they're in
check
school.
teacher salaries. Oh.
Yes.
It's not a joke. Oh.
It's me.
They're
That
being paid while
pathetic.
they're in school and they
You
have
can't
their
describe it.
Teachers don't have
security and things being
the
paid
teachers
for
don't
them.
have respect.
You-
You see someone sees you and passes
Pass
by
by.
you.
I think the government must the government, or let me say the health minister must meet the various
There are no tools and all of that,
the various health associations and the leaders, and for once maybe sign and maybe for once sign a bond.
If they are
sign a
doing
bond.
their job right,
Yeah.
they know how
I
to
think
demand for
we-
their
we-
tools
we-
right.
I think
They are lackadaisical
you
themselves.
see that's what I'm
Making a
saying.
health system too
If persuasion
political
fails, if
at
persuasion
times
fails,
usually leads to all these things
They
because
are lackadaisical at
Yes.
their job, so they
Oh,
don't
they
come
are-
sometimes
yes,
when the
they're
tools
like-
are not there. They
if
just
persuasion
say it and leave
fails,
it.
force must be applied, and the force that must be applied should be that the association leaders must be met, and then they should be aware that for once enough is enough. Enough is definitely enough. They should just sign a bond. Any professional who or any professional who misbehaves within his or her jurisdiction as far as the health sector is concerned, either be dismissed or jailed.
and, yes. And another thing is I think the government needs to make it a point to put cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
To put cameras at most of these
There should be proper surveillance.
Yes, proper surveillance because
Yeah.
they will prevent you from taking videos.
Exactly.
When you start taking videos, they get angry. They get so angry. I
That's
think
what happened last
I
year
took-
at Reach.
Yes, I took an uncle there, and then he was in the ambulance for 3 hours. 3 hours for no bed. Eventually, the ambulance guy said, "We should use their stretcher." Eventually, the ambulance man said they should use their stretcher. We'll close soon.
Yeah.
We should use their stretcher. You understand? Now, for that 3 hours, all of them were passing. No one was even coming to peep to even find out, what is wrong with your
They
patient?
remain unconcerned.
Eventually, the student nurses came to check the vitals. They went inside and then there was nothing. We were just there.
Waiting
So I
for
took my phone to video what was happening. And then the security guy came and then he was shouting. And I told him, my guy, you're the security guy here. Tomorrow, you might be the one in the ambulance. You think it's a joke because you're here working with them. You think you're part of them. You're not part of them. Oh. You are just at the security post. I've not done anything to you.
situation can change.
It's my phone that I'm using. It's not your phone. Tomorrow, you might be in the ambulance and then you will get here and none of them will even recognize you for once being a security officer at this facility. He was a bit calm when I told him that. He said, these are the things you are going through. People are going through a lot. But unless someone, whether your relative, your church member, whoever it
Let's
is,
be there for one another. That's
gets
all.
into this
Let's
situation,
be there for one
you
another.
might just not know how severe the
Ghanaians, they like
situation
that.
is.
They want to always see the face of the person you're working before you attach value.
I think
That's the level of
reason
discrimination
why
we have.
our young
That's
children
the level of
also doing this. They are
discrimination.
falling in the hands
Exactly.
of Obroni men.
Yes.
Because there are men before you. What is so important about the Obroni man that
Exactly.
you just run to yourself?
Oh, yes.
What is all that
If
about?
you
That
walk
is our
If
mindset.
you walk with a brainy man, then you are high.
That's our mindset. That's
I
what we
think
like.
That's all our time.
Simply
will permit.
because we don't accept
Yes.
integrity.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't have integrity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we don't have such integrity.
That's all
Yeah.
our time will permit for today. Thank you so much for the discussion.